Well, and that's what when I teach, I allow my kids to do research on some of these old groups and artists and the like, and it was how much did they influence the culture and how much did the culture influence what they created. And I think it's a symbiotic relationship between artist and time period and culture. And certainly those groups, I mean, the music was fantastic, it was relevant, it was political. And over the years, I've gotten to be friends with Dennis Thompson, the drummer of the MC5, and you know, he wanted, you know, send me 2 copies of the book, and I sent them out to him, and we've kind of kept in touch by email. But that music, it spoke truly, and it was filled with a kind of rage and an energy that would result in something like a riot. And I think that you know, the comment, when you push people so far, you're going to end up with
you have a backlash. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you can't do that forever.
Before we go to break, could you give us your email address where people can find out more about Motown Burning? And go ahead and...
Sure. No, it's johnjeffire.com, JOHNJEFFIRE.com. They can check out the novel there, also at the aquariuspress.com. The poetry book is available. So either one of those sites.
Poetry book's very good too. I have a copy of that here as well. We'll take a quick break, and then we want to talk about the healing after the riots and then into the 70s, and then your career as a teacher as well as a wrestling coach, and a pretty good one, I might add. We'll be right back with Right from the Author right after this.
I think it breaks a little to the left.
To the right.
Nope, straight.
I told you it was going right.
Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day.
For fun playtime ideas, go online. Just don't stay long.
Excuse me. What time are you guys leaving? We're gonna rob your house tonight.
Don't come closer. I have rabies.
Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, a simple blood test that helps measure your risk of a heart attack and other complications. Learn more at diabetesaA1c.org.
Welcome back to Right from the Author. I'm Joe Cochran, coming to you from Park Place here in Warren, Michigan. We have John Jeffire, who wrote Motown Burning, a book that really stems from the riots of the late 60s and then some healing into the early 70s. And while we were away, we were talking about his teaching at Chippewa Valley and being a wrestling coach. He said he's in the wrestling mode. I don't want to take this guy on. He just told me today he's had his neck broken for the 2nd time, and I'm not ready to still take him on. He looks like he's in pretty good shape.
You can take me now. Yeah.
Well, you heard that, everybody. I can take the Chippewa Valley guy. Before we get into your teaching, you teach English at Chippewa Valley, great school district. But quickly, if we could talk about getting into the 70s. You mentioned before we went on the air, or even while we were on the air, that we're still trying to heal. Over 40 years ago. Talk about how we healed. We kind of came together. Races, you know, we met together, and we were able to heal some, but there's still some healing to go.
Well, I think in Detroit particularly, this is where sports come in, and in '68, with the Tigers, and I know there have been documentaries done about it, but that was a special time, and that was, you know, the people that were warring against each other kind of put down their differences long enough to celebrate their team. And a guy like Willie Horton, who was born in Detroit, I mean, you know, during the riots, he left the ballpark in his gear and was standing on top of a car trying to get people to stop.
I remember a picture of that.
Yeah, I mean, what a heroic figure he was and still is. And for that team to come together, I think in '68, you know, sports doesn't take place in a vacuum. It's you know, a reflection and an expression of culture and our values. And I think at that point, that's where sports really served a function for society, to get people to come together and to kind of let the hatred go for a little while. And that was a special time. And I can remember, in '68 when they won it, my father took me down on Michigan Avenue, and my father was kind of a character, but I had uncles all over the city. I found out later these were all bartenders. They were all my uncles. So he had to go visit my uncle at one of the bars, and he gave me a little tiger bobblehead, and I stood out on Michigan Avenue and held up this bobblehead, and the cars were coming by beeping, and it was black people and white people, and everybody was just ecstatic, and I kind of felt like they were all beeping at me. I had no comprehension of what this euphoria was about.
And that comes together in just 1 year. I mean, in July of '67, the place is ripped apart. In '68, they're running away with the division title. McLean wins 31 games.
Yeah.
Gates Brown's pinch hitting every night, winning a game. Willie Horton, like you said, he was kind of like a spokesperson there and tried to keep the peace in '67. This was a great group of guys who were really part of the city, Mickey Lolich. And I think that they really, you hit on it, and sports is a big fabric of this nation. And I think it really held, the seams, we were coming apart at the seams, but it really kept it together. And I really think it helped rebuild this city in 1968.
There's no question. And you know, sports by themselves, what do? I mean, they really don't do a whole lot. It's what they do on that human level. You know, talking with Billy Taylor on your previous show, there's the exploits of Billy Taylor, the athlete, and then there's the really inspirational story of Billy Taylor, the person. And with the sports teams of Detroit, besides, we've got to talk about the Lions.
Oh, are they still here?
Yeah, they're still here. I mean, Bobby Lane leaves, and we're still waiting for something to happen.
Well, what a great sports town, which really, I think, helped us, even though we still have a long way to go before recovery.
And Joe Louis before then, this guy that brings the nation together, defeats Max Schmeling, and restores pride to the country. You know, this is a hard town. It's a blue-collar town, and these people become so inspirational to our citizens. It's not Los Angeles where you have a latte and go to the Lakers game and wear your $800 aviator sunglasses, stuff like that. These are real people, and that's something they can literally grasp onto, is the reality of a sporting contest.
Okay, so now we get a little bit away from the book. John takes us into his career now. You're a teacher, you've gone into wrestling. I just mentioned you have just recovered from a broken neck. Tell us about your career, where you went to school, how you got into wrestling, and then teaching at Chippewa Valley.
I guess my wrestling career started because I was a failed hockey player. As everybody else grew, I stayed small, and it got tougher to compete in hockey. I like a lot of kids in Detroit, hockey was my sport, and grew up. My dad working at the Olympia, I got to go in and watch the Wings practice, and Gordie Howe and Alex Delvecchio and Bobby Baughan and all these great players, Roy Edwards, et cetera, Roger Crozier.
Remember all of them.
Yeah.
Bobby Baughan, Gary Bergman.
Gary Bergman, number two.
Number two, yeah.
The bald head,
He'd shoot from the point 20 feet wider than that, but boy, I tell you.
But he was a good defensive.
He was awesome.
Player.
No helmets back in them days.
That's right, yeah. But I got to be around all those guys. So my goal was to be a hockey player, but nature didn't cooperate, and I got pulled out of a gym class, actually. We were doing a unit on wrestling, and I had no idea what wrestling was. For me, wrestling was Wild Bull Curry and the Sheik, Bobo Brazil, etc.
Fred just smiled over there, our floor producer.
Slamming the head off the turnbuckle and that kind of stuff. So like wrestling, where's the rope?
Fred used to work with these guys.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.